Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to be with you and share the news with you folks. Enjoying my fine cup of coffee on this beautiful morning. We got frost on the ground up here in northern Minnesota. It is chilly outside, but the sun is going to break through today, and it's going to be a beautiful day. So do smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from, folks. Adam Schiff. It's coming. It's coming. Hallelujah. It's coming. I'm telling you what, I think that of all the people, right, who I want to have see justice, there is just something about Schiff that is so annoying. I know it's coming for Brennan as well, but we have a great report here for you. So I don't know how many of you were following the news yesterday and saw the reports that the Adam Schiff investigation is going nowhere. In fact, I'm going to show you the headlines out of the news. This is just from yesterday. So if you Googled Adam Schiff investigation, right, and then hit the news tab, here you go. NBC, the Adam Schiff criminal probe has stalled, sources say. Prosecutors are hesitant to charge Trump foe Adam Schiff, sources say. Prosecutor told DOJ there's not enough evidence to indict Trump foe Adam Schiff. Okay. Breaking, prosecutors recently told DOJ there is not enough evidence to prosecute Senator Adam Schiff. The investigated into Senator Adam Schiff has stalled. Senator Adam Schiff under criminal investigation for alleged mortgage fraud. That was way back on August 5th. Here we go. The Daily Beast. DOJ probe into Trump enemy comes to a standstill. Okay, then we got the 3% mortgages and so on. But so we were told yesterday that it's over. Adam Schiff can't be prosecuted. There's not enough on him. There's not enough there, folks. He can't. They're not going to do it. Not going to do it. By the way, I don't know if you are aware of this, but during the entire censorship regime that took place, from 2020 on, there were a couple of people who actually were communicating directly, had direct lines, were communicating more frequently than anybody else with the big tech companies, meaning Twitter, meaning YouTube, Google, so on. Do you know who those two people were that I'm referring to? Let me just see. I want to see in the chat if you know who the two people who are communicating most directly, most often with the large social media platforms to cancel conservative voices. Okay. Anybody know? Curious. If you know who that is. I actually ended up with strikes from YouTube and demonetization on videos covering these two people. They were deep in bed with the big tech companies. So I've got Stephanie. You're not sure. It's totally understandable. This is going back a few years. Well, one was Adam Schiff. Okay. He all the time. I mean, you can check out the communications that were given off at this time that were uncovered during some court cases. The other one, interestingly enough, was Katie Hobbs of Arizona. So when I did Katie Hobbs videos or the videos on Kari Lake and the court cases down there, that is what got my channel demonetized for the umpteenth time. Yes, covering the Kari Lake trial. And I was covering real news. It was the trial from one day to the next and showing the lies from one day to the next on these things. Pretty wild. So Katie Hobbs, yes, she had it was like a direct line to all these companies. She was in direct communication with them all the time. So back to this though. So if you were watching this, and how many of you saw this in the news yesterday where it looked like that's it, the criminal probe of Adam Schiff is over. I got to pick something up that fell too. But the criminal probe of Adam Schiff was done. It wasn't going anywhere. That was what we were told. Okay, this is just yesterday. Check this out. Let me see here. And let me go to one of these real quick. Let's go to NBC. The criminal probe has stalled after months of investigating. Federal prosecutors in Maryland haven't produced enough evidence to bring charges, according to 4 people familiar with the investigation. So before we get into this real quick, let me explain how this works. So there's a case of great importance. It's up. the Trump Justice Department is bringing it, and Mega World gets excited, and they're like, wow, we're going to see some justice. And then anonymous sources leak to the press that the situation is dire. They can't get an indictment. It's stalled. Everything. Prosecutors are saying it can't happen. Okay. When they do that, what they're doing is setting up a narrative to say when the charges actually do come through, they charged them in spite of the fact that there wasn't enough evidence and that open-minded and fair prosecutors were opposed to the idea. Now get this. That's how this stuff works out. So back to this. The federal mortgage fraud investigation against Schiff, one of President Donald Trump's chief political foes, has stalled, according to 4 people familiar with the investigation. After months of investigating, the federal prosecutors leading the probe have not produced enough evidence to bring charges, these people said. One of the sources, a federal law enforcement official, said the investigation has come to a standstill. Kelly Hayes, the U.S. attorney overseeing the investigation, met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche earlier this week and asked him how to proceed, according to 3 people with knowledge of the meeting. The decision out of that meeting was for Hayes to pursue more evidence, and the case remains ongoing, these people said. No final decision has been made. The sources spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to comment on the ongoing investigation. The White House referred a request for comment to the Justice Department, which has not responded. So, goes on about how Schiff served as a lead impeachment manager. Of course, that means that Trump is doing something bad by going after the person, you know, the lead impeachment manager. Here's what I mortgage fraud. Okay, we know this is going on. I'm wondering why we aren't hitting him with the bigger charges. So that's what I want to see. I'm looking for the bigger charges. Okay, and I want to show you. So sorry. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden just went black. That was weird. All right. Here we go. This is what I want to show you. Yeah, hit that like button, folks. Cynthia Jones. Okay. Amen. Yeah. 72 likes, 278. Hit that like button. Let's get this out. Okay, so check this out. Sorry about that going black there. Trump administration shows signs of eyeing possible conspiracy case against Obama and Biden officials. So this came out of the Washington Examiner yesterday. By the way, check out the ad up here. Breaking: Musk slashed budgets for pro-life global aid. MuskExposed.com. This is so hilarious because what they're talking about is Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency slashing USAID. And now they're trying to hit conservatives like they care about the pro-life message. This is so ridiculous. I find these ads to be entertaining. Anyways, but this just came out yesterday, or actually this morning at 5 a.m. Trump administration shows signs of eyeing possible conspiracy against Obama and Biden officials. Top Trump administration officials from multiple agencies are taking steps behind the scenes toward further exposing what they say was a far-reaching scheme to weaponize the government against President Donald Trump as one of his top allies. Hints the evidence could soon come together before a grand jury in Florida. Federal prosecutors in South Florida are quietly preparing a new grand jury that could set the stage for criminal charges against former Obama and Biden-era officials accused of orchestrating and alleging years-long conspiracy to undermine Trump during his first presidency and after his 2020 election defeat. A recently posted order from the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida on September 26 shows that Chief Judge Cecilia Altanoga authorized a grand jury to convene in Fort Pierce beginning January 12th of 2026. The order does not specify the subject of the proceedings. So now I'm going to go to, I'm going to show you why this was all false too. And then I've got something really important to show you. Pushback on this Washington Post. This is Susan Crabtree from Real Clear Politics. She's the national political correspondent. Okay. She's pretty decent, not a partisan hack. Okay, Adam Schiff mortgage fraud story. Maryland U.S. Attorney Kelly Hayes did not say that she didn't believe the mortgage fraud case against Adam Schiff was strong enough to pursue. The case against Adam Schiff is moving forward. Kelly is the same U.S. attorney to indict John Bolton and is not backing away from the Schiff case, according to the source. So this is Ken Delanian from MSNBC who broke this story. You know, there's not enough to pursue Adam Schiff. Exclusive with Carol Lenning, the federal prosecutor in charge of investigating Senator Adam Schiff should be charged with mortgage fraud, recently told her bosses in Washington she did not think the case was strong enough to move forward. So whenever you see MSNBC touting a piece in favor of Adam Schiff, what do you know, folks? Just in the chat, what do you know is going on when they're pursuing charges against Adam Schiff? And yet the mainstream media, the MSNBCs of the world, tell you that there's not enough there. What do you know immediately? MSNBC covering Adam Schiff, opposed to the Trump administration, running this piece from anonymous sources. What do you know? They're lying, folks. That's what it is. They're lying. And that's what we're seeing right now. And then this gets outed. Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics covers it. And Susan Crabtree is not like what I would call a Trump fanatic by any means when you read these people. So Real Clear Politics has some journalists who play things pretty down the middle. They do have the anti-Trumpers and the pro-Trumpers and all that. But a lot of their journalistic staff is just pretty open-minded, pretty clear-minded, probably more so than me because I love Donald Trump because he's fulfilled his campaign promises, and I haven't seen another person I voted for do that. Okay, so propaganda, that's right. Hey, so check this out, folks. You guys, if you did not see the live I did yesterday, you need to go watch it. The one, and I forgot the Pennsylvania story in it. I am so frustrated with that, but South Carolina and Georgia stories are covered in that, as well as some other things. And I had Adam Morgan, state representative, no, he's state senator from South Carolina. Good guy. I've got him on there. We're talking about some uniparty issues. Then we've got Mike Lindell on there, Heather Mullins, and also Garland Favorito talking about what's going on in Georgia right now. Big decision was made there yesterday, so you need to go check that live out from yesterday. Great interviews. Those of you who watched it, comment on that. Tell me if that's worth watching. I think it was one of the best lives that we've had in the last month. Smash that like if you would again, but also go check out mypillow.com/lumberjack or call 1-800-568-2865 for the best, folks, the best sleep products available, the best energy drinks as well. Right now, still some of the Percale sheets left. They are running out of those, $29.88, any color, any size. Then, of course, there's the moccasins, the slippers. There's the premium pillows. There's a lot of great deals going on over there. Great for Christmas presents and free shipping on your order right now. All right, so let's pull that back out. But go check that live out yesterday. You're going to love it. Okay, here we go. Back to this. Now I want to go to this one. Here's what I think is now reference back to this. Okay. Trump administration officials from multiple agencies are taking steps behind the scenes toward further exposing what they say was the far-reaching scheme to weaponize the government against President Donald Trump. Grand jury impaneled in Florida. Okay. Now this goes in line with the other thing I shared yesterday, which was Dan Scavino sharing that song from the end of the movie Sum of All Fears when all the deep state actors are being played out or being taken out. Okay. And this goes along with then Peter Bernigger's tweet that the whistleblowers have squealed and the grand juries have been impaneled. And here we're finding out this grand jury and specifically what this is about, because Adam Schiff has got a lot more to worry about than mortgage fraud, folks. Okay. New docs reveal how, I'm going to go to this. New docs reveal how media colluded with the government to manufacture Russiagate. Okay, we'll pull that one up. That's by Paul Sperry. Paul Sperry also works with Real Clear Politics. by his own logic, Schiff is inciting violence against the FBI by criticizing Bolton raid. Yes, Adam Schiff can be prosecuted for deliberately leaking classified information to hurt Trump. So when you look at the grand jury impaneled in Florida, we're talking about a lot more than mortgage fraud. Okay. If recent reports are true, Senator Adam Schiff could have some explaining to do. According to newly released documents, a Democratic whistleblower told the FBI that Schiff approved leaking classified information regarding the alleged Russiagate scandal to smear Donald Trump. According to the report, when working in this capacity, was called, redacted staffer's name, somebody was called to an all-staff meeting by Schiff. In this meeting, Schiff stated the group would leak classified information which was derogatory to President of the United States, Donald Trump. Schiff stated the information would be used to indict President Trump. If this information is accurate, Schiff could potentially face legal consequences. However, before entertaining this possibility, questions remain as to whether the alleged conduct would enjoy immunity under the speech or debate clause of the Constitution. Okay, so it goes on here about this. Let's go here. Now he's inciting violence against the FBI by criticizing the Bolton raid. Remember, California Senator Adam Schiff declared on Sunday the FBI's raid on former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton's home was clearly retribution. But if criticizing FBI raids amounts to inciting violence, then Schiff is guilty of the very offense he once accused President Donald Trump of committing. The FBI searched Bolton's home. Okay, we know that. Welker asked Schiff whether he believes that people need to let this investigation play out and not get ahead of it at this point. Schiff immediately dismissed the possibility that the justice system should be permitted to play out, instead claiming this is a clear case of retribution. I think it's clearly retribution. What the president is trying to do here is very systemic and systematic. And that is anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them. These people are just frauds, absolute frauds. Unbelievable. New docs reveal how media colluded with the government. This is from October 3rd to manufacture Russiagate. Recently declassified documents indicate that people close to former FBI Director James Comey and Adam Schiff were connected to leaks of classified information to prominent reporters designed to portray Donald Trump and his allies in being in league with Russia. Written in 2017, the FBI documents expose how selected Washington reporters, including Ellen Nakashima of the Washington Post and Michael Schmidt of the New York Times, notice the papers, Washington Post and New York Times, scored a series of Pulitzer Prize-winning scoops in 2017 by repeating false and inflammatory leaks during President Trump's first term. So again, this is how this whole situation always works. They always leak to their allies in the press. It's always got to be from Washington Post and New York Times. And then they try to make Trump look like the guilty one. They pursue him mercilessly with all these charges. He somehow, by the grace of God, breaks through, and now the shoe's on the other foot, and they're crying like little babies. But, folks, this is good news. We are seeing something take place here. And, again, the media is going to try and discredit this because, just as we covered earlier, they've already, four anonymous sources, not enough charges to move forward. And when the charges are dropped, they'll say, they did this exact same thing, okay, with James Comey. You know that, right? I mean, this is the exact same narrative. Not enough to indict James Comey. Same thing with Letitia James. Not enough to indict her. Oh, they don't really have enough. And then when the charges drop, it's political retribution. It's the same exact playbook every time. And I don't know how the majority of Americans don't see through it. By the way, I want to talk about this quick too. Where is it? Right here. Did you guys see this? This is wild. Trump cuts trade talks with Canada over Reagan tariff ad. Did you guys all see this? President Trump said Thursday he was cutting off trade negotiations with Canada, citing an ad campaign that used former President Ronald Reagan's warnings about the long-term risks of tariffs amid the trade dispute between the U.S. and Canada. Trump, in a post on Truth Social, accused Canada of using the ad to interfere with a pending Supreme Court case to determine Trump's authority to impose sweeping tariffs in other countries. Folks, this is a big deal. So Doug Ford, the idiot premier from Ontario, okay, I probably should call him an idiot, but he's really not a good dude, okay. Well, so I want to show you this. Canada is running So I've seen two different numbers on this, but $75 million anti-tariff propaganda on TV. This from Dan Scavino here in the United States of America, directed at Republican voters. Okay. The government of Ontario, Canada created an ad campaign using selective audio and video of Ronald Reagan. But get this, look at this. From the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation, they put this out, and I'll read it to you. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute has learned that the government of Ontario, Canada created an ad campaign using selective audio and video of President Ronald Reagan delivering his radio address to the nation on free and fair trade from April 25th, 1987. The ad misrepresents the presidential radio address, and the government of Ontario did not seek nor receive permission to use and edit the remarks. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Institute is reviewing its legal options in this matter. We encourage you to watch President Reagan's unedited video on our YouTube channel. So you can watch the entire, if you want to, on the YouTube channel of the President Reagan Foundation. Okay, and Donald Trump then truthed this out. Okay, so here it is. The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for $75 million. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA based on their egregious behavior. All trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Do you know what's interesting about this? Do you know who loses in a trade war between the U.S. and Canada? And answer in the chat. Who loses in the trade war between the U.S. and Canada? Who loses? I'm going to find something here, and I'm going to go to. Got to find this video of Mark Carney talking, because this is really. Okay. All right, here it is. All right, I'm going to bring this in. Okay, so check this out. Mark Nixon shared this on X. Mark Carney has officially failed. No trade deal with the U.S. He says our relationship is over. We share the largest border and the biggest economic gift on earth, and this clown torched it. With a real prime minister, we would have had a deal. Instead, we have disaster. Okay, so you need to listen to this speech.
So because of these advantages, over decades, our economy grew steadily, more integrated with the United States through the free trade agreement of the 1980s, the NAFTA Accord of the 1990s, and eventually USMCA agreement signed in 2018. Canada's trade increased by over 400% during that period, and our...
Okay, check that out. Did you guys catch this? Canada's trade increased by over 400%.
Economy doubled in size.
Economy doubled in size. So when Canada talks about, you know, oh, Canada, and they're so free and independent and all of that, I want you to remember this. Their trade quadrupled, their economy doubled because of trade with the United States of America. Now, here's the thing. Canada isn't China. They don't have cheap labor, so they can't ship goods all over the world at a competitive rate that's going to best anybody. Okay? They're running so many social programs. They run themselves into oblivion in debt up there. They don't do enough on their own, and yet they act like they have power in this process. So watch this.
But this process, this decades-long process of an ever closer economic relationship with the United States is now over.
Over.
And as a consequence, many of our former strengths as a country, former strengths more particularly as our economy, strengths based on close ties to America, have become our vulnerabilities. And as a result of that, the jobs of workers in our industries most affected by the U.S. tariffs in autos and steel and lumber are under threat. And our businesses are holding back investments, restrained by the pall of uncertainty that's hanging over all of us. Our relationship with the United States will never again be the same as it was, even though in this new world of protectionism, we have the best trade deal of any other country, and we're working to make it even better still.
Okay, so this was him just the other day, right? Now, watch this. This dropped today.
United States. Look, for months, we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed.
Yeah, we asked you to stop fentanyl flowing in our border. This is unbelievable. Of course it's changed because you won't honor anything.
From the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries. Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus.
Yeah. Honestly, do you guys think that Canada is going to be able to export a bunch of goods to China? This is the most ridiculous thing. You know, before was the thing he was working on. Now he's not worried about it. He's worried about it, folks, because economy of Canada is going to collapse under this clown. It's going to collapse. Now, they never, no country should rely on another country to that extent. I mean, they shouldn't be relying on us. We shouldn't be relying on them. You know, leaders change, as we've seen all these World Economic Forum dweebs get into power, and then they implement stupid policies. You know, Stephanie, it's very true. It is a very beautiful country, Canada. You know, Minnesota, obviously, I'm up here. We share the border with Canada, and in many ways, it's very similar. The boreal forests, the birch and pine, balsam forests of Minnesota flow into Canada. We share the boundary waters with them. They have the Quetico as a place of beauty. It's just gorgeous. Canada's gorgeous. Used to just be phenomenal too. Like you could go on hunting trips up to northern Canada for 2 caribou. Now their caribou herds have been decimated. They've wrecked everything up there. The liberal policies of these fools. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's just a gorgeous country, but what they've done to it is absolutely crazy. Now, Steph also said I wouldn't call Canadians communists. Not the citizenry of Canada. Some of them are. They have the same large. This is similar to Minnesota. There's this thought process from Northern European nations, Finland, Sweden, Norway, that is this collectivism mindset that seems to have been passed down generationally, that has not been good for Canada and their economies. But we saw one of the greatest freedom movements of all time up in Canada with the trucker convoy. So, you know, like all countries, not everybody's the same within that country, and there are freedom fighters up there. Alberta's significantly different than Toronto. You know, not Toronto. Toronto's the city. Let me think. Quebec, another city that's there. So Ottawa is in Quebec. I think now I got to think Canadian geography here, but you go eastern Canada, you go up above the Great Lakes in the more populous areas of Canada, and they have these same problems that we have in our populous cities here in the United States. So yeah, it's pretty wild. And then you get out to like Alberta, Saskatchewan, and they want to just be free, more rural. So is what it is, folks. But thanks for listening this morning. Remember, go check out my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack for big savings on the best sleep products. Get yourself some Giza sheets. You will never regret it. Get yourself some of those My towels and some travel pillows, my 3 favorite products over there. 1-800-568-2865. Free shipping on your order right now. We'll see you on the next episode, folks. Love y'all. Peace out.